Good day to you. Right, this little video is going to be aimed at the potential detectorists and those new to the hobby. Been quite active on Facebook. I belong to quite a few groups where you get similar questions popping up all the time from saying people new to the hobby or potentially looking to get into the hobby. So I thought I would answer the top 5 most asked questions that I see on there. Hopefully it'll be helpful to you if you are looking to get into the hobby. So let's crack on. Right, first question. Now, this one is an absolute wormhole of a question that you see coming up more often than any other question. I'm looking to get into the hobby. What metal detector should I buy? Now, especially asking this on Facebook, you are going to get inundated, absolutely inundated with silly people telling you to go out and buy £1,000 detector. Don't do that. Don't do that. There's many other things to consider before you even think about buying a detector. But good beginners detectors, I mean, my vote always goes to the Quest X5, because what you get for £169 is unbelievably good. But you will get people telling you the Simplex, which it's not an expensive machine, but it's not the cheapest machine. And if you don't know if you're going to enjoy the hobby or really get into the hobby, you're spending out money you won't get back. So my best advice is to hit YouTube rather than Facebook. See what sort of detecting you want to do and have a good look around at the different machines, what they do, what they sound like, what people's opinions, various people. Don't just go to the first one and think, yep, that's the one I'm going to get. Have a good look around. I did, and I didn't regret for 1 minute buying that X5. In fact, I still use it. If you look back through my videos, I still take it out on occasion because it's that good. But yeah, don't spend a fortune if you're not entirely sure about the hobby. It's just not worth it. Next question. My wife, son, daughter, mum, dad has just bought me a metal detector. I live in, name at random, Manchester. Where can I go detecting? Simple answer is you can't. Unless you have permission, you can't detect anywhere. Okay? It's really that simple. Going on land you haven't got permission to detect on is called night hawking, and it's against the law, as well as extremely frowned upon in the detecting community. So before you even consider buying your detector, test the waters, or the lands as the case is. Find out how easy it is to get permission where you live. I mean, there are places in this country you can open your back door and shout, "Can I go detecting?" and 10 farmers will shout, "Yeah, no worries, mate." If you live where I live, it's extremely difficult to get a permission. So bear that in mind when you're looking to get into the hobby. Have a look around. See if clubs in your area are freely open to join. Have a look around, see if there's groups that on Facebook or whatever that organise digs that you can go on. Beaches. You can go on beaches. There, I will put a link in the description below. There's a thing called the Crown Estates map, and this shows you the coastline of England and where you can and can't detect, because some beaches are protected for wildlife reasons, conservation reasons, um, and historic importance. You can't detect on some beaches because they're historically important. Um, so I'll put a link in the description below to that map. So if you want to do beaches, that's a good option for you if you haven't got permissions. But just remember, you have to have the landowner's permission, and all land in this country is owned by somebody, even if it's the local council. Even if you think it's a public park, I can dig that. No, it's owned by the council, so you have to get permission. And a lot of councils don't give permission to dig up their parkland, unsurprisingly. But yeah, I hope that answers that one for you. And on to the next one. Quick and simple one, this one. How deep will the metal detector go? Or, as I've seen quite often, will this detect down to a metre? No, it won't detect down to a metre. None of them will. If you want to start doing that, you've got to look at ground penetrating radar and magnetometry and buy yourself a JCB. Now, most of my finds, my good finds, my interesting finds, have come from within the top, I don't know, 10 to 12 inches. And most reputable detectors will do that for you. Obviously, if you buy a £49 Amazon special, you're going to be lucky if you can find a coin when you're sitting it on the coil. So, yep, quick and simple. You don't need to go that deep. You really don't. Don't get hung up on depth. Right, go for another one. Will my detector find gold? I refer you to my previous answer of, if you've got yourself a reputable detector or a detector from a reputable brand, yes, it will find gold. It will find pretty much anything you want to find. But just remember, to find it, you've got to walk over it. Right? It's not a magic button, it's not a radar, it's not going to, you're not going to walk onto a field and it'll tell you there's gold 500 yards that away. It doesn't work like that. You've got to walk over it. But yes, most detectors will find gold. Next. This is the last one, and it is, again, one of the most frequently asked questions by a new detectorist. What settings is everybody using? Honestly, don't. Please don't. If you're just starting out, the most important thing you can do is read your manual. Read the manual. It will tell you which settings are best suited to what. Like at the moment, I'm using the Equinox 900, and I'm using it in field 2 because the frequencies for field 2 are geared towards finding small objects. Now, that doesn't mean it won't find the big objects. It just means you stand a better chance of picking out the tiny little things like Roman minims, little tiny hammered coins. Whereas if you gear your detector for deep things, it's going to be looking for larger objects. It might skip over the small stuff. But yeah, read your manual. If there's not one in the box, it will be online. There'll be a little pamphlet of some sort that will tell you where you can find the information. But don't get hung up on settings. The people in the factories, or the people that design these machines, they know their stuff. And generally speaking, they get that stuff right. So, find the best program that's pre-programmed for you. Get out there, adjust your sensitivity so your machine's not going mad all over the land, and just learn the machine. It's that simple. If you start messing about with your settings straight off the bat, you stand a good chance of missing things, and you might find you lose interest in the hobby because you're not finding a lot, etc, etc. So just pop it in the best one for you. Get out there, learn the machine, learn the tones. Don't worry about messing around with settings. It's not worth it for you. Okay? Right, so I hope those little things were helpful. If there are other questions, obviously I've just done sort of the top 5 that I see asked the most. If there's other things you want to know, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and do another video to cover that. Yeah, I want to be as helpful as I can. I was lucky because I had Chris, my friend Chris. He's addicted to bleeps on YouTube. He's been doing it for some years now, and all the silly questions I had, he answered for me. And I say silly questions, there aren't silly questions. They're things you don't know that other people do, so don't ever feel silly asking. So let me know in the comments below if there's other things you'd like me to do videos on, and I'll give it a go for you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.